the beast no one could save. The world of Kairos 9 was built around danger. Towering crystal mountains split the horizon. Storms of glowing dust swept across the plains, and beneath the surface flowed rivers of energy that powered colonies across 3 sectors of space. Yet none of those hazards frightened the people of Kairos 9 as much as the creature known as the Titan Maw. The beast was enormous. Its armored body stretched nearly 200 meters from head to tail. Massive legs could crush mining vehicles with a single step, and its roar could be heard for kilometers. Despite its terrifying appearance, the Titan Maw rarely harmed anyone. For generations, it had wandered the Energy Valley, feeding on mineral-rich deposits and maintaining a delicate ecological balance. The colonists respected it. Some even considered it a guardian of the planet. That was why panic spread so quickly when the Titan Maw collapsed. The first reports came from mining crews working near the valley. They watched in disbelief as the giant creature stumbled, let out a weak growl, and fell to the ground. Within hours, emergency alerts were transmitted across the sector. Scientists, military officers, and government officials flooded into the colony's command center. By the following day, the galaxy's best veterinary specialists had arrived. They came armed with technology worth millions of credits. Advanced scanners floated around the creature's body. Medical drones analyzed tissue samples. Xenobiologists compared data with records from thousands of known species. Nothing worked. Every attempt to examine the Titan Maw ended in disaster. Whenever a drone moved too close, the creature reacted violently. Several machines were destroyed. One medical transport was nearly crushed when the beast lashed out in pain. The experts grew increasingly frustrated. The nervous system is too complex, one scientist reported. We cannot identify the source of the illness, another admitted. The situation worsened. The Titan Maw stopped eating. Its breathing became irregular. The once powerful guardian barely had enough strength to lift its head. 3 days later, an emergency council meeting was called. A giant holographic image of the creature floated above the conference table. Around it sat representatives from multiple worlds. The mood was grim. If the Titan Maw dies, one environmental officer explained, the entire valley ecosystem may collapse. Another official added, and if it becomes aggressive before death, thousands of colonists could be at risk. Silence filled the room. Finally, an elderly xenobiologist spoke. We have exhausted every known treatment. Nobody wanted to hear what came next. Euthanasia may be the only remaining option. The room erupted with protests. Some officials argued that the creature deserved another chance. Others insisted that delaying action would only make the situation more dangerous. For nearly an hour, the debate continued. Then a young colony administrator cautiously raised a hand. There may be one more possibility. Everyone turned toward her. What possibility? Demanded a council member. She hesitated. A human veterinarian. The room became silent. Then several officials laughed. A human, one alien doctor scoffed. This is a Titan Maw, not a household pet. Another specialist shook his head. Our greatest experts have failed. What could a human possibly accomplish? The administrator swallowed nervously. Humans have a reputation for handling dangerous animals. Predators, giants, creatures other species would never approach. More laughter followed. Yet as the meeting continued, one uncomfortable fact became impossible to ignore. Noah had a better idea. At last the council leader sighed. We are out of options. Reluctantly, authorization was granted. A message was transmitted across interstellar channels. The request was simple. Send a human veterinarian immediately. 2 days later, a small shuttle descended from the clouds and landed near the valley. Alien scientists gathered to watch. The hatch opened. A single human stepped onto the landing platform, carrying a worn field bag. No military escort. No advanced equipment. No impressive technology. Just one man, Dr. Ethan Ward. He glanced toward the distant Titan Maw and quietly studied the massive creature. Around him, skeptical experts exchanged doubtful looks. None of them believed the human could succeed where the galaxy's greatest minds had failed. But Ethan wasn't looking at them. His attention remained fixed on the suffering giant lying in the valley. And for the first time in days, he thought he saw something everyone else had missed. "Easy, buddy." Dr. Ethan Ward stood at the edge of the observation platform, watching the Titan Maw through a pair of binoculars. Around him, dozens of alien specialists continued analyzing streams of medical data. Holographic displays floated in the air, filled with biological readings and complex diagnostic reports. Ethan ignored them. Instead, he watched the creature itself. The Titan Maw lay motionless in the valley. Its massive chest rose and fell with strained breaths. Occasionally, it shifted its head and released a low rumble that echoed through the surrounding cliffs. To the alien experts, the sound was threatening. To Ethan, it sounded different. It sounded afraid. After nearly an hour of observation, he turned toward the assembled medical team. "How many examination attempts have you made?" 23, replied a senior xenobiologist. "And every time you approached?" The creature became aggressive. Ethan nodded thoughtfully. What if it wasn't being aggressive? The room fell silent. Several doctors exchanged confused looks. "What are you suggesting?" one asked. "I'm suggesting it's scared." The response was immediate laughter. "Scared?" another specialist said. "That animal outweighs a battle cruiser." "Size doesn't matter," Ethan replied calmly. "Pain does." The laughter faded. Ethan pointed toward the valley. "Every machine you've sent near it makes noise. Every probe causes discomfort. Every attempt reinforces the idea that something is attacking it." The specialists were unconvinced. Yet none could offer a better explanation. Finally, Ethan spoke again. "I need everyone to back away." The council representative frowned. "Back away. Shut down the drones. Turn off the scanners. Clear the valley." The order triggered immediate objections. Without monitoring equipment, they would have no protection if the creature attacked. But after several minutes of debate, permission was granted. One by one, the machines powered down. The constant hum of engines disappeared. The valley became quiet. For the first time in days, the Titan Maw was left alone. Ethan picked up a small handheld scanner from his bag and started walking. Gasps spread through the command center. "He's actually going down there." Security teams followed at a distance. Weapons remained ready. The Titan Maw noticed him almost immediately. Its giant head slowly lifted from the ground. Golden eyes locked onto the approaching human. A deep growl rolled across the valley. Several guards tightened their grip on their weapons. Ethan kept walking. Slowly, calmly. When he was close enough to be crushed by a single movement, he stopped. The Titan Maw stared at him. Its massive jaws opened slightly. Rows of enormous teeth glimmered in the sunlight. The entire valley seemed to hold its breath. Then Ethan spoke. His voice was soft, gentle, almost casual. "Easy, buddy." The reaction was immediate. The growling stopped. The creature blinked. Across the observation platforms, shocked scientists stared in disbelief. Ethan took another careful step forward. "That's it. Easy, buddy." The Titan Maw lowered its head slightly. Not much, just enough to show it was listening. Ethan continued speaking in the same calm tone he had used with frightened horses, injured dogs, and stressed wildlife back on Earth. The words themselves weren't important. The tone was trust, patience, safety. For nearly 20 minutes, Ethan remained beside the giant creature. The Titan Maw never attacked. Instead, its breathing gradually slowed. Its muscles relaxed. Even the tension around its eyes seemed to fade. Only then did Ethan activate his handheld scanner. Unlike the larger machines, the device emitted almost no sound. The creature tolerated it. Ethan carefully moved around the giant head and neck, collecting readings. Minutes later, he stopped. Something caught his attention. He scanned the area again. Then again. His expression changed. "What is it?" a council officer asked through his communicator. Ethan didn't answer immediately. He focused on the readings. There, a metallic signature. Deep inside the creature's upper digestive tract. A foreign object. Ethan's eyes widened. "Well, I'll be damned. What did you find?" The human looked toward the observation platform. "I think I know what's wrong." The scientists immediately demanded details. Ethan enlarged the scan results. A distorted metal structure appeared inside the Titan Maw's throat cavity. The room erupted into confusion. It can't be. How do we miss that? A mining drone, Ethan said. Silence followed. Several officials stared at the image. Weeks earlier, a survey drone had disappeared near the valley. No one had connected the incident to the Titan Maw. The damaged machine had apparently become lodged deep inside the creature, causing pain, swelling, and infection. Every failed examination had focused on exotic diseases. No one had considered something far simpler. The creature wasn't dying from a mysterious illness. It had something stuck in its throat. The realization left the experts speechless. Finally, the council leader asked the obvious question. Can it be removed? Ethan looked toward the enormous beast. The Titan Maw watched him quietly, trusting him, waiting. The human veterinarian smiled slightly. Yeah, he said. I think it can. Then his expression became serious. But getting it out is going to be the dangerous part. Far above the valley, storm clouds gathered across the mountains. And for the first time since arriving on Keros 9, Ethan knew exactly what he had to do. He human method. By sunrise the next morning, the entire colony was watching. News of Dr. Ethan Ward's discovery had spread across Keros 9 overnight. The mystery illness that had baffled the galaxy's greatest experts was no longer a mystery at all. A damaged mining drone was lodged deep inside the Titan Maw's throat. Now came the difficult part, removing it. A temporary operations center had been established near the valley. Alien engineers, physicians, and security personnel gathered around holographic maps of the creature's anatomy. The mood was tense. One wrong move could kill the Titan Maw. Or Ethan. A senior xenobiologist pointed at the scan. The obstruction is located approximately 40 meters inside the upper throat cavity. Several officials exchanged worried looks. You're not seriously planning to go in there? Ethan shrugged. Unless one of you has a better idea. Nobody did. The Titan Maw remained calm as Ethan approached later that morning. The giant creature recognized him immediately. Its enormous golden eyes followed the human's movements. Again, Ethan spoke softly. Morning, buddy. A low rumble echoed from the beast. For the first time, the sound no longer frightened anyone. Ethan carefully climbed onto a maintenance platform positioned beside the creature's head. Wearing protective gear and carrying specialized cutting tools, he entered the massive mouth. Gasps spread through the crowd. The view was unbelievable. The Titan Maw's jaws were large enough to swallow a transport vehicle whole. Security teams stood ready outside, just in case. Inside, Ethan moved carefully through the cavern-like throat. Portable lights illuminated walls of armored tissue stretching high above him. His communicator crackled. Vitals stable, reported the monitoring team. Good, Ethan replied. After several minutes of climbing and navigating through the enormous passage, he finally located the obstruction. The mining drone. It was badly damaged. Jagged metal fragments had become embedded in surrounding tissue. Infection had spread around the wound, causing severe swelling and constant pain. Ethan understood immediately why the creature had reacted violently during earlier examinations. Every movement must have felt agonizing. Found it, he reported. Cheers erupted outside, but the operation was only beginning. Carefully, Ethan started cutting away twisted sections of metal. Every movement had to be precise. One mistake could trigger massive internal bleeding. Minutes passed, then an hour. Piece by piece, the wreckage came loose. Outside, alien doctors watched in amazement. None of their advanced machines could have performed the procedure as safely. Not because the technology lacked capability, because the Titan Maw trusted the human. Then disaster struck. As Ethan loosened a large section of wreckage, the creature suddenly convulsed. A powerful spasm shook the entire throat. Ethan nearly lost his footing. Warning alarms sounded immediately. Movement detected. The Titan Maw is waking up. Panic spread through the command center. Security officers rushed into position. Several weapons systems powered on. Inside the creature, Ethan grabbed a support cable and held on. The giant beast groaned in pain. The entire passage trembled. Through his communicator, officials shouted orders. "Get out of there! Evacuate immediately!" Ethan ignored them. He knew exactly what was happening. The removal process had disturbed damaged tissue. The Titan Maw was hurting. Not attacking. Hurting. He activated his communicator. Nobody fire. But nobody fire. The command center fell silent. Ethan took a deep breath, then spoke toward the giant creature. "Easy, buddy." The shaking continued. "You're okay." Another spasm rippled through the throat. Ethan stayed where he was. Just a little longer. Outside, millions of viewers across the sector watched the live broadcast. No one could believe what they were seeing. A lone human speaking calmly to one of the most dangerous creatures in known space. Gradually, the tremors weakened. The Titan Maw relaxed. Its breathing steadied. The crisis passed. Only then did Ethan return to work. 2 hours later, the final section of metal came free. The mining drone crashed onto the transport platform below. For a moment, nobody said anything. Then the scanners updated. The obstruction was gone. The command center erupted into celebration. Scientists cheered. Engineers hugged each other. Several officials simply stared in disbelief. Against every prediction, the operation had succeeded. But Ethan wasn't finished. The infection remained serious. Over the next several days, he supervised treatment around the clock. Medicine was administered carefully. Wounds were cleaned. Recovery was monitored continuously. Most importantly, the Titan Maw remained calm. Alien veterinarians began studying Ethan's methods. At first, they focused on the medical procedures. Soon, they realized the true lesson was something else. Observation, patience, trust. For centuries, galactic medicine had relied almost entirely on technology. Humans still use technology, of course, but they also listened. They watched behavior. They learned to understand frightened animals before treating them. It was a perspective many civilizations had forgotten. 5 days later, the valley shook once again. This time not from pain. The Titan Maw slowly rose to its feet. A roar thundered across the mountains. Not an angry roar, a healthy one. Colonists flooded observation platforms in celebration. The giant guardian stood proudly beneath the morning sun. Its strength had returned. As Ethan watched, the creature lowered its massive head toward him. Security teams immediately tensed. But Ethan smiled. The Titan Maw gently touched its forehead against the ground in front of him. A gesture of respect. Or gratitude. Perhaps both. The crowd fell silent. For the first time, even the most skeptical experts understood what they were witnessing. The human hadn't merely healed the beast. He had befriended it. And across the galaxy, billions of viewers began talking about a simple phrase that had succeeded where all their technology had failed. Easy, buddy. Humanity's gift. 3 weeks later, the story of Keros 9 had spread across the galaxy. Every major news network carried the same headline. Human veterinarian saves Titan Maw after galactic experts fail. Dr. Ethan Ward hated the attention. He had never wanted fame. He had only wanted to help an animal in pain. Yet everywhere he went, people wanted interviews. Scientists requested consultations. Universities invited him to speak. Even the powerful Galactic Council had sent an official invitation. So Ethan found himself standing in the council chamber on the capital world of Aurelia Prime, facing representatives from hundreds of species. A massive hologram of the Titan Maw floated above the assembly. The council leader addressed the crowd. "Dr. Ward, countless experts failed. How did you succeed?" The chamber became silent. Ethan considered the question. Finally, he answered, "You were trying to treat a problem." The representatives looked confused. Ethan continued, "I was trying to help an animal." The room remained quiet. For days, everyone focused on equipment, scans, and theories. Those things matter. But before any treatment can work, you need trust. The Titan Maw wasn't attacking people because it was dangerous. It was reacting because it was scared and hurting. Several scientists nodded thoughtfully. Ethan smiled. Back on Earth, humans learned something a long time ago. Animals don't care how advanced your technology is. They care whether they feel safe. The statement spread quickly across the galactic networks. Within weeks, veterinary schools began incorporating human behavioral techniques into their training. Researchers started re-examining other difficult cases. Across dozens of worlds, treatment success rates improved. To Ethan's embarrassment, many called it the human method. He thought the name sounded ridiculous. The galaxy disagreed. A month later, Ethan returned to Keros 9 for a final visit. The Titan Maw had fully recovered. The giant creature once again wandered the energy valley, stronger than ever. Colonists greeted Ethan like a hero. Children asked for photographs. Miners offered free meals. Ethan accepted neither fame nor special treatment. Instead, he headed straight for the valley. The Titan Maw spotted him almost immediately. Its enormous head lifted. A deep, familiar rumble echoed through the mountains. Ethan laughed. "Good to see you too, buddy." The creature approached slowly. Though it could have crushed buildings beneath its feet, it moved with remarkable care around the humans gathered nearby. Its recovery had become a symbol of hope, a reminder that understanding was often more powerful than fear. Then disaster struck. Without warning, emergency sirens erupted across the colony. Warning lights flashed red. Communication channels exploded with urgent reports. A major seismic disturbance had been detected beneath the energy valley. Deep underground pressure was building rapidly. Scientists stared at incoming data in horror. If that fault line ruptures, the rest of the sentence wasn't necessary. Everyone understood. The resulting energy release could destroy multiple settlements. Thousands of people were suddenly in danger. Evacuation orders were issued immediately. Transport ships launched from every colony. But there was a problem. One major evacuation route crossed directly through the valley, and the fault line was opening beneath it. Panic spread. There wasn't enough time. As emergency crews scrambled for solutions, something unexpected happened. The Titan Maw noticed. The giant creature looked toward the collapsing valley, then toward the fleeing colonists, and then toward Ethan. For a brief moment, human and beast locked eyes. Ethan didn't know what the creature understood, but he knew it remembered. The Titan Maw released a thunderous roar and charged. Millions watched in disbelief. The giant beast raced toward the unstable section of valley. The ground cracked beneath its feet. Energy surged from deep underground. It kept moving. Reaching the fault line, the Titan Maw planted its massive body across the widening rupture. Its enormous weight stabilized the collapsing terrain. The evacuation route held. Shuttles continued moving. Families escaped. Emergency vehicles crossed safely. Minute after minute, the creature remained in place while the last colonists evacuated. Only after everyone was clear did it finally move away. Moments later, part of the valley collapsed. Had the Titan Maw not intervened, the route would have been destroyed. Thousands of lives would have been lost. The colony erupted in celebration. For years, many had viewed the creature as a monster. Now they saw it differently, not as a threat, as a protector. Later that evening, Ethan stood alone beneath the stars. The Titan Maw rested nearby. The crisis was over. The colony was safe. The giant creature lowered its head beside him. Ethan reached out and scratched beneath its armored jaw. The Titan Maw responded with a contented rumble that shook the ground. Ethan smiled. "Good job, buddy." Above them, the stars of 1,000 worlds glittered in the darkness. And across the galaxy, people remembered the lesson humanity had taught them. Not every problem could be solved with bigger machines. Not every mystery required more technology. Sometimes, the greatest strength in the universe was the willingness to understand another living creature. And sometimes, all it took to change everything was a simple whisper. "Easy, buddy." The end.